And you're back on the Boom Boom Room with the champ, Ray Mancini. I'm the corner man, cut man, Cornel Bogdan. And I get to do the heavy lifting on this one. 1240 WBBW, 96.7 WLLF throughout the country, coast to coast via your favorite listening app. Terry Fator, who is the winner of Season 2 of America's Got Talent. He will be appearing March 1st at the Robbins Theater. You can get your tickets right now at robbinstheater.com. Direct from Las Vegas, we welcome Terry Fator to the Boom Boom Room. Ventriloquist, impressionist, stand-up comedian. Terry, welcome, man.
Oh, man, what a pleasure it is to be talking to you. I'm so excited to be coming to that area. Also, don't forget, I'm going to be at the New Philadelphia, Ohio, Kent State University. I'm not sure what the venue, Tuscarora.
Oh, yeah, Tuscaroras. Yeah, yes.
Tuscaroras.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to learn how to say that without moving my lips, won't I? But yeah, we're doing 2 shows up there and in that area. And I got to tell you, man, this is the best show I have ever put together. I have been doing this now for 50 years, almost 51 years. And since I've been in Vegas, I was a regular resident headliner in Vegas for 18 straight years.
Right.
Thousands and thousands of shows. Millions of people come to see it. And once I quit that in September of last year, and I just said, man, I don't want to do 200 shows in Vegas. I want to take my show all over the country, all over the world. I've performed in Rome. I've been all over the world, and we are bringing this new show. It is the best show I have ever done. I'm on fire, and I cannot wait to bring this show up to you guys in Ohio.
Terry, it's so nice to have someone with some adrenaline pumping, man. I can tell in your voice. Speaking of Vegas, you've played there many years. What do you see over like the last couple of years? What's the biggest entertainment changes you've seen in that town?
When I started 19 years ago,
right.
I think it was the golden age of the headliner in Las Vegas because, man, I won Strip Headliner of the Year many, many times, more times than I can even count. I don't even remember how many, but, I got Best Family Show, I got Best Show, Best Strip Headliner, all of them. And ever since we got the Raiders and the Golden Knights, and now we're getting, hockey and football, and now they're bringing in baseball, and they got the Sphere, it's really changed. And it's just not the place for the kind of headliner I have been.
Right.
But I got to say, it's perfect because it was a dream of mine to headline in Vegas for multiple years.
Yeah.
I got to do that. They consider me now, this is not my words, this is Las Vegas. They consider me Las Vegas royalty, a legend in Las Vegas lore. I'm so proud of that, but I am super excited to be able to travel the world. And, when I was doing those headlining shows, my wife and I never could go and see the cities. We've been to Niagara Falls 5 times since we've been married 10 years ago, and we have never been to the falls because my schedule, I had to go straight in, get some sleep, go straight back and do my show in Vegas. And now we're going to be able to come in a couple of days early. We're going to be able to see the city. My wife and I love to go antique shopping and look around at the cute stores and find a really fun place to go eat. And we're actually going to have time to do that, all while bringing the best show you people have ever seen. I can assure you, you're going to leave this show on top of the world. This high is going to stay with you for weeks after you see this show.
Now, I got to pull back the curtain a little bit with you, Terry. How do you keep track of so many voices and characters you actually do? And how do you find time to create a new freaking character?
It has been very, very difficult. I created many, many characters while I was performing in Las Vegas at the Mirage, and then I went to the New York, and then I went to the Strat, and I've created so many different characters, and you just have to find the time. But I'm finding that I have so much more time now that I don't have 5 to 6 shows a week in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I can actually, I'm excited to get up in the morning and work on my show. I'm doing a Christmas show also that we're going to be bringing in the holiday season. And I am just having so much fun. I was so tired before. Not only that, my voice was always tired. It was never able to really get a full, clear, ringing sound. Yeah. And now that I'm not performing every night, when I go and do these road shows, man, I am in the best voice I've ever been. But that's what I do is now I'm excited because I was exhausted before. Now I'm excited. I get up in the morning, I do my exercises, and then I start working on the show, and I start thinking about characters and writing jokes and learning songs. And so this is just going to be such a dynamic show, and you're going to feel an energy that I haven't had in years, I have to say, because, when you do something over and over every single night, hundreds of nights a year, it just gets to a point where you just want to go to bed. You don't want to do it.
And get some sleep,
It's like nothing I've ever done before, and I'm really pushing my abilities to the limit with what I'm doing.
Well, I mean this as a supreme compliment. I've worked in radio all of my life. We constantly, on being on air, you constantly play with your own voice, new approaches on how to, get something across to an audience. One of my all-time favorite album titles is by a gentleman named Ian Hunter, who was with Mott the Hoople, and his album is called "You're Never Alone with a Schizophrenic." Terry, Terry, I hate to tell you this, but we're all a little schizo, aren't we?
I'll never be lonely because, when I was a kid...
That's a great line, too. I'll never be lonely. But,
when I was a kid, I would just make up my own characters to talk to and have fun. I think it's like, instead of when you think of Castaway with Tom Hanks, he had Wilson. Trust me, if I was stuck on that island, I'd have 20 different people that I would be, 20 different characters that I'd be talking to. And I'd probably be carving things out of coconuts to create characters and voices. And so you're never alone.
Yeah, well, another thing with you, too, in your craft, I watch a lot of your videos, and we learn throughout the years that your voice doesn't necessarily come from one's mouth. You hear constantly, get that diaphragm involved. You are a master of singing with your mouth closed.
It's kind of physically impossible. I don't know how it happens. I wish I did, but
Terry, it's a freak fest, man. How do you do it?
Is. It's funny that you say that because my voice doctor is the voice doctor to the stars. His name is Dr. Wayne Kirkham. He did an interview with Rolling Stone. He's been my voice doctor for 40 years.
Okay.
And he said, they asked him, what is the most unusual person you've ever worked on? He said, without a doubt, Terry Fator, what he does is physically impossible. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out either. But I got to say, I do use my diaphragm. In fact,
yes.
I probably use my diaphragm more than most people. It's just that I'm for some reason, and we don't know what it is, there's something physiologically off about me that allows me to create these tones that most people have to open their mouth. And it's funny because in June of last year, I did a symphony show where it was 80% just me singing. And I did like opera, and I did pop music, and I did jazz, and I did, everything. And it was so funny because my music director kept having to say, Terry, open your mouth. You can open your mouth now because I'm just so used to singing with my mouth closed.
Well, I want to get in more to the show, but one thing that is very near and dear to my heart and Ray's heart over here is you are an artist that gives back. Let's talk a little bit about the Terry Fator Foundation.
The Terry Fator Foundation is really just a foundation that primarily works with military, veterans and first responders. We provide guide dogs for disabled. We've bought exoskeletons for people who have lost the use of their legs. We've bought homes to help people that are struggling. We also work with kids with cancer. We work. My wife's mother died of dementia, and so we're looking into getting into doing some things with Alzheimer's and dementia research. But it's really we just work with all kinds of different charities that help people because there's only so much money one person needs. To be honest, I'm not one of those that needs to be a billionaire. I just want to be comfortable and make sure that I'm able to provide for my family, and the rest of it can all go to charity, and that's what it does. It goes to the Terry Fator Foundation, and we really primarily work with people that first responders and military and veterans, and it's just. So it's something that's been special to me. I've had lots and lots of people in my family that have been veterans and also worked in first responders. And so just to see what we're able to do to help lift up families of those who have been injured or killed, it means the world to us. And we appreciate that it's a symbiotic relationship with my fans because they purchase these really fun things like decks of cards, T-shirts, hats, all sorts of things, puppets. and 100% of the profits of everything you buy at terryfator.com on my store goes to the Terry Fator Foundation. So I'm not pocketing any of that stuff. It's all going to help people. So you can feel really good knowing that you're helping some good people when you purchase something on terryfator.com.
Terry, from the bottom of my heart, man, God bless you. Great work what you're doing there. And you wrote an autobiography, and you called it Who's the Dummy Now? And just to give a little brief history, you grew up in Dallas, hardworking parents. You were part of the work environment at an early age. I think they were in the janitor business. Am I not mistaken? Yeah, okay. And
we were janitors.
Yeah, you knew what life was like working hard, but you also knew there was more to life out there. When did that entertainment bug first take a bite of you?
Oh, from the time I was born. I mean, I was born entertaining people. I'm sure even before I have memories, I was enjoying listening to people laugh. And I just my makeup is somebody, I don't like physical labor. And I know that sounds like a joke, but it's true. I like mental labor. I've always have. Now it's funny because my brother is 1 year older than me. He is exactly the opposite. He worked on ranches. He loved getting out there and digging post holes. I was miserable doing that stuff. And so what I would do is I would engage my mind while I was cleaning toilets and while I was emptying ashtrays and garbage cans and vacuuming floors. And I would create characters, and I would write jokes, and I would write routines. And then I started listening to the radio while I'm cleaning the toilets.
Good man.
And I'm singing without moving my lips because I said, I want to be a professional ventriloquist. And so little did I know I was preparing myself for one of the greatest runs in Las Vegas history. I had no idea at that age, but
you know, I'm at the age where when you went to school, you still got paddled, and may I say, every time I've been paddled in my life, they missed a whole bunch more. I deserved every shot, but you would have been the person that I would have been sitting beside that I would be getting in so much trouble with. You must have been a blast mimicking teachers.
I was named class clown every single year of my schooling.
Good
because
for you.
I was always making people laugh. I was always making voices come. I was getting in trouble when other people talked because they were convinced I was throwing my voice. And I always had so much fun with it. I used to love to make voices come out of suitcases and closets and all sorts of things. And it's I never did this, but a good friend of mine, Ron Lucas, he said he actually used to throw his voice. He's another ventriloquist. He used to throw his voice into the intercom, and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? He said he would call himself out of class. And he would get to leave the class, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd had that kind of creativity. But I always was having a lot of fun with ventriloquism and with jokes and laughing. And you know, the funny thing is, I never got bullied because I did have bullies, but I never got bullied because I knew how to make them laugh.
Right.
And when I made them laugh, it diffused the situation. And I was very good at self-deprecating humor. So they would call me a name, and I would start making jokes about me being that whatever name they called me.
Yeah.
And then they would laugh, and they would turn to that person that got their feelings hurt or started crying or started yelling or started trying to fight. Because they're looking for a reaction. They're not looking to laugh. And so I was able to diffuse every major horrible instance in my life.
So cool. Well, let's go to the show now. It's called Terry Fator, Pure Imagination, Once Upon a Voice. Now, where did that name for this tour come from?
Well, you know, I'm a huge fan of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In fact, if you read that book you're talking about, and by the way, I'm going to be writing a sequel. It's been about 20 years since I wrote that book, or almost 20 years, and so there's a lot that has gone on in my life since then. But one of the last line, or maybe the first, I can't remember, but it's right in there. It says, you know what happened to the man who suddenly got everything he always wanted? He lived happily ever after. And so I love that movie. And I opened my symphony show last year with the song Pure Imagination, and I would have puppets on stage sitting there waiting as the symphony is preparing and everybody's getting in their seats and these dead puppets. And while I was singing Pure Imagination, I was having these puppets tell a little joke between, in the musical interludes. Yes. And I just loved it. And I thought, my entire career is about my imagination. I was using my imagination when I was cleaning toilets and emptying ashtrays. I was using my imagination to create a world that I wanted to be in more than cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
And so what I've done is I realized that it's not just my imagination, it's the audience's imagination.
Right
because
on.
you have to use your imagination to believe this turtle can actually sing Roy Orbison.
Oh, yeah, right on.
And so it's the whole show is pure imagination, and so it's really, really fun, and it is able to come from a part of me that I have always loved Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but I've always loved that whole magical world of, I've always lived in a fantasy land of Santa Claus. I've always believed in Santa Claus, still 60 years old, still believe in Santa Claus, and will until the day I die.
Well, his name is Terry Fator. Terry, I just love your personality, and I love just how happy you are about life, man. We are looking forward to having you, and it's March 1st over at the Great Robbins Theater. You can get your tickets now at robbinstheater.com. Terry, last thing I want to emphasize, you welcome the entire family.
And what I do is, and I don't want you to think it's a squeaky clean little kid show
I got you. Yep, right.
I love to tell the little adult double entendres, the kind of thing that you're going to be laughing so hard you're crying, and your child will look at you and say, "What are you laughing at?"
Right.
And there is always a clean explanation for the double entendre. So you can say, "Oh, well, he was talking about this," when actually I was talking about what you're laughing at, and then the child, and that way when the kid's old enough that you can tell them what you were laughing at. And so I don't ever go over that. There's no swearing, there's no outright dirty things, but I love that, and it's really adult humor for the adult intellect. It's not necessarily dirty or sexual or anything like that. It's humor, intelligent humor written for the adult intellect. The kids will love it because the characters are so lovable, especially Winston, the turtle. But it's amazing. Vicky the Cougar is one of the most popular characters among kids, and I don't know why. She's a cougar that flirts with a guy in the audience and says these double entendre jokes, and the kids just love Vicky the Cougar. So all of the characters, the kids they love Maynard, the Elvis impersonator. So the whole family can come and enjoy it, and it's just going to be a night of fun. And you will. I'm telling you, you will carry this high with you for weeks.
Terry, I thank you so much, and we will see you on March 1st at the Robbins Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, get your tickets right now at therobbinstheater.com.
Thank you. And don't forget New Philadelphia, too.
And New Philadelphia.
What is it?
Tuscaroras. There you go, man.
Tuscaroras. Thank you so much for your time. This has been a blast. I hope to see you at one of those shows.
Terry, have a great day, man. Thank you.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.